Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for my client Jordan's vlog, and he is one of my novice lifters who is, again, had been a high school athlete, an athlete has, growing up his entire life, still plays some sports now, and again, we're just going to get him bigger, stronger, more explosive. So with him, he kind of liked the idea, and we talked about it, of just doing the 3-day-a-week training, which we do for him right now, and it's working out quite well. And interestingly enough, he had a great week on squats and deadlifts. Bench was a little rough. But the thing we've run into also is he's getting some connective tissue inflammation he's describing. So we're like, well, look, let's take a deload week next week. So I'm going to deload him. I'm going to raise his training maxes on the squat and the deadlifts the week after and restart a new training cycle. All right, it's a good way to go. But I mean, we're at a point where he's getting 10 on the new squats and deadlifts. These are the new training maxes. Right, these are the new training maxes. So we've got to keep taking those up, because I took them up considerably, like 15 pounds on the squat and 25 on the deadlift this training cycle. We get back to 85% of those, and he's doing 10s again. So again, his leg and back strength is just exploding. And he was kind of like, why am I a little further behind on the bench? Only because our training max is higher relative to them. Right, he was a hair more advanced on his pressing strength. So again, we're running the training maxes a little higher, and he's progressing a little slower. So we're not going to bump those this next cycle. But I feel like after a good deload week, those are going to go up. But for him, his squat days are pretty straightforward. There's not much to it. We squat. We do more squatting. We do split squats with dumbbells, and then he does pull-ups, right? And that's his whole week. And it ends up being, right in that 10 to 11 set range, for squatting movements. And of course, I have him do a lot of chin-ups and stuff right now. Right, we're doing a lot of chin-ups, a lot of pull-ups, based on what he is able to do with his wrist and everything. He has previously been injured a bit there, had a surgery and stuff in his arm. So we do have to watch certain angles, right? Certain angles he's just not comfortable gripping. They tend to inflame that area, and again, he's still got, I believe, some pins and stuff in there. So we just build around it. We don't want to inflame those. But he finds the pull-ups seem to be working pretty good for him now. So we're sticking with pull-ups instead of chin-ups. So we're doing the pull-ups now on his squat day. And then we get over to the benching day, and it's pretty similar, right? It's pretty similar. We still use a 5-3-1 type progression for his big three. Right? We still use that. So benching, it's the same thing. We come in and we bench, and he got 5 this week, but we did increase his training max. We went up on it, and now it's kind of at a limit. We can't really bump it up for a bit. We're going to need to leave it where it is for a training cycle or two, and that training max is 190. Again, he's still a novice. But the deadlift training max is 315, and it's simply too low for him at this point. But the bench day, we bench, then we do 5x10 bench. We do flat dumbbell presses, pull-ups, and then band press downs. And let's discuss why we pick those exercises for him. Mainly, we need to bring his chest and upper body up quickly. The dumbbells do that. They give us some greater range of motion. Right? And you guys know why I program dumbbells when I program them. So he makes sense. He's the sort of client who will benefit from them right now. Could I eventually replace the dumbbells with incline or overhead pressing? You bet. And we may do that in some future blocks. But right now, I just want to get him thicker. Right? I want to get him thicker. We're not worried about extra shoulder development at this point. We're doing all these pull-ups. We're doing all this benching. They're coming along fine. Stuff we worry about a little later. But, would we eventually potentially replace those at some point with incline or overhead? You bet we would. We wouldn't have a problem doing that, and it would be fine if we did. But, again, his bench day is we do a heavy set, 5x10 back off. I only have him do 3x10 on the dumbbells, and that's come up too. Some people are like, well, why not do more? Well, because then with the 5-3-1 type ramp-ups, we end up with about 13 sets in one day for chest, which may be a little bit much for him, and a novice doesn't need that. If we're in about that 10 set range per week, which is what we do for everything, notice he does about 10 sets of pull-ups, right? He does about around 10 to 11 sets of squat variations, right? Because we count the squat, the split squat. Benching, we're in the kind of the same boat. Around that 10, 11 set range for chest presses. Then we do band press downs to, again, build those tendons and stuff. A lot of my younger guys, I like to do that for them. All right, and especially he's had a history, he's had an arm surgery and get some inflammation in his arms. Well, I want to make sure that those elbows don't get inflamed, and I want to keep blood flow to them. So, that's one of the reasons we do that. And some of my lifters, the tricep work varies a lot. A lot of my people, we see some cable press downs. Some of you guys will see them do a lot of band work. Others, we do dumbbells or laying extensions or whatever for tricep work. Right? But particularly some of my guys who don't need tricep work, we just do bands. Right? If they don't seem to need tricep work due to their anatomy, we just do bands. Works great, works fine. Gives us fantastic results. But in his case, I want to build those tendons up. He's young and healthy. I want to keep his elbows healthy. Right? And we get a lot of pressing on this day anyways. So, the triceps don't necessarily need a lot of volume, but really what they are getting is a lot of reps, again, with the band stuff. Deadlifts. It's something like 285 for 10. Something like 285 for 10. All right. Although, I do want to get him to a point where he does this stuff without the straps. I want to see the heavy work without straps. And that's something I'll talk to him about further as we go. We need to build his grip up. Now, granted, he does a lot of pull-ups. That handles most of his grip training. Right? Handles most of his grip training. Plus, he's not planning on powerlifting, not planning on doing strength sports. He is an athlete. So, there is a point where we don't care a lot here because he is getting grip work with the pull-ups. But, it's something I do need to chat with him about is I want to see just the volume work as far as straps probably in the future, and try to do our peak sets, with a mixed grip if we can. But again, we run over to, this is someone who's has some pins and stuff in his arms, had a surgery on his arm. So there's also that comfort issue to deal with for him. All right. So again, we look at what our individual people need. Look at what our individual people need. Of course, we do deadlifts and then we finish up with some good mornings after. Here he is knocking out those good mornings. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.